Welcome to Wheels from the Heart with your host, Sabrina. Wheels from the Heart is an official 501c3 that provides cars to hardworking single moms and their children. A car will help a mother and her children drive towards a better life. To donate a car, contact Wheels from the Heart at 844-GIVE-WHEELS. That's 844-GIVE-WHEELS. Now, let's get ready for the messenger of love as she educates, informs, and entertains the needs in our community. Here's Sabrina.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sabrina, and we are here with Steve, the founder of Wheels from the Heart. I am so honored to have you here, Steve. You have done amazing things for single women and their children. Can you tell us one of the most impactful things you've ever done for a single mother and her children?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm truly blessed. I want to give credit to God for this whole mission and purpose that He's put in front of me, and I feel very blessed in that He would trust me with His children, basically the single moms and their children. So that's a pretty, in all honesty, I don't want to answer that question because there's so many amazing, impactful, beautiful stories, and I don't want to, they're all miracles, each one of them in their own separate miracle.
Right. I can say for myself, I haven't been to a lot of car giveaways, but last weekend was a car giveaway that was so emotional for me, and the amazing woman that was gifted this car and her children, she was crying for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, and the people that saw that were in the room, and you see the emotion of not a brand new vehicle, it's a used vehicle, it's been fixed, it's a reliable vehicle to go back out on the road and to change her life, to drive to a better life, right? Isn't that one of your sayings, is to drive to a better life? But to see the emotion of this woman just crying and crying and crying and crying for 20 minutes straight, and her children looking at her and going, "Mom, what's wrong? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And to see that instant impact in such a small amount of time, for me, was like, wow, this is what a car can do. This is what a car can do. You forget the power of a car.
Right, absolutely, and the freedom that it allows you and the doors that are open because of the car. I think one of the most beautiful things that I get to witness when this happens is I see such a strong bond between the mother and her children. A lot of times they're in situations that are, just chaotic and there's a lot going on, but they bond together. And so what you are able to witness last week was here's a mom that the kids didn't know, was she happy or was she sad? But two boys, maybe 6 and 4 years old, went right to mom and were so concerned for her well-being. And that's just a really touching scene.
It really is. I have to tell you that talking to a couple people that were at the giveaway, and they were moved. People that had either never seen it, or the people that were donating. Like when you give a car away, you can also be the sponsor that gives the car away and be at the giveaway.
Absolutely.
And you had those sponsors there at that giveaway, right?
Right. And it was kind of interesting because now this woman and her husband that donated the car are now going to become mentors. They volunteered through a different program that we introduced this young lady to. They're now going to become mentors to her and really give her, continue on the love. Instead, we don't want to be just like, hey, here's a car and we'll see you later. We're a family. Wheels from the Heart is a family. So once we give a car to a single mom, we always wanted to know, hey, you're part of a family. We want to know how you're doing.
So you also work with other organizations. For instance, I know you work with Boys and Girls Club. There was a mother that couldn't get her kids to Boys and Girls Club. And how did that all work out? How did you find out about this woman?
Well, it was interesting. I was, eavesdropping in a crowd of people, as I do sometimes, just trying to, find ways to expose the charity and speak about God. And I heard a gentleman talking about the Concours d'Elegance in Boca Raton, which is a gigantic car show. And so I just said to him, hey, can I talk to you? And I shared my mission and God's purpose, and I gave him a card, and he said, well, I'll get back to you. And about 3 weeks later, the president of the Boys and Girls Club called and said, I heard you spoke to John, and John said we should talk. What do you have in mind? And I had mentioned, what we do. And he said, well, let me think, because what we like people to be aware of is that every cause, there are so many causes, and in reality, no pun intended, but it's a wheel. And so there's spokes in the wheel.
Sure.
Each cause would represent the spoke. And if one spoke's missing, the wheel's going to go flat. So we're really all in this together, and we're helping the same people. So John just said, well, he got back to me and he said, let me think about it. He called me, said, it's so funny that you would say this. After you spoke to me, on my heart, I remembered Mrs. Kavanaugh. And Mrs. Kavanaugh and her 3 boys were always at Boys and Girls Club. And she was volunteering, and the kids were thriving and doing different activities. And all of a sudden, I remembered I had not seen them in, a long time. And they reached out to Mrs. Kavanaugh, and she said, oh, my car broke down over a year ago, and I haven't been able to get the boys back.
Wow.
And I miss that. And so we were blessed to be able to find a car, provide the car, and give her the car. And now the kids are back at Boys and Girls Club.
And what a great story. And when you have children, people focus in on the single mother, but the single mother is a mother because she has children, logically, right?
Correct.
So when a mother is gifted a car, really what you're doing is you're gifting the children a car.
Right.
You're changing these children's lives. These children, I can't even imagine. I'm sure there's a lot of ex-ball players or ball players that are playing right now, either with, NBA, NFL, baseball, that have come from single mothers. And if there's anybody out there that's listening to this that knows a baller, whether it's a basketball, football, any of them, if you want to help lend your likeness and image to help bring forth this mission, we would fully embrace you. And it's such a feel-good thing to actually witness a woman and her children's lives being changed in minutes and seconds. As soon as they get gifted the car, it's just a life-altering change. And when you say wheels of the heart, or wheels from the heart, it's really of the heart as well, because it's a heartfelt mission.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
It's wonderful that you're doing this.
And it's kind of interesting because I get to speak to a lot of people, and some is invited and some is forced. And I always ask people about single moms, and it's an instant eye opener. People always say, "Oh yeah, my mom was a single mom,"
Right.
or my sister's a single mom, or
Sure.
my whatever, my daughter's a single mom, my
School
neighbor,
teacher.
my school teacher, my
Right,
kid's
sure.
a single mom. So everybody has some hook to that. So it's such an epidemic, and we really need to step alongside these women, because every woman that we've given cars to, 39 to date, have all been very strong, doing the work.
Right.
They're providing for their kids. They're on the bus 5 hours a day.
Wow. So how can they, that must have an effect on their mental health, their well-being. How can you be 100% mother if you have to work a full-time job, be on the bus 4 or 5 hours a day, and take care of your children? So the children suffer, right?
Well, the worst part of the bus is that, it's downtime. You can't do anything on the bus. So some of these girls, like I mentioned, are 2.5 hours each way. So that's 5 hours times 5 is 25 hours. So when you give a car to a woman, it's like giving 25 hours. So if I asked people out there that, hey, I'm going to give you 25 more hours this week, you'd be like, wow, think of how much you get done. So
Sure.
It's really imperative for the vehicle.
Now, you also have a company that is a for-profit company that actually was one of the main reasons why you birthed this charity to help single mothers in need, because I know as a single mother, the last thing, are there any single mothers out there that or anybody that really loves the car buying process? It's something that's a tough thing to deal with. And I know myself, you have a program with Country Club Autos, it's called, correct?
Correct, in Delray Beach.
Country Club Autos in Delray Beach. It's called the Painless, it's a PPP.
Yeah.
Painless, let me see if I get this right. Painless Purchase Program.
Correct.
Okay, so what does that mean? The Painless Purchase Program, in 30 minutes, what happens?
Well, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I claim myself to be an auto concierge. And so really what I decided was, after myself buying cars and liking cars and needing cars, I never really felt like it was an experience that I enjoyed. So that's when I got into the car business. So I just felt that if we could just polish the wheel, you don't have to reinvent it.
Sure.
You can do things a little better. So the 30-minute PPP is basically, by the minute that you come to our dealership, you look at a car, you decide you want that car, and you show me your trade, the deal will be done in 30 minutes.
Wow, I love that. I'd come to the dealership just for that. And you also have great deals on cars. I know that my friend brought her car there, and she brought it to another dealer, and you gave her off the written estimate. I can't mention the dealer, I don't think, on the air, but a very, very, very well-known dealer. and they were actually able to get $500 more than
Absolutely.
the other dealer was able to offer them. So if there's anybody out there that wants to trade a car in, Country Club Autos in Delray, again, Country Club Autos in Delray, and really you're sponsoring a lot of the charity, aren't you? So you're actually helping a single mother and her children when you buy a car with Country Club Autos.
Absolutely, and that's really how the whole idea morphed and came to be. I just saw so many women coming to the dealership that were, in a situation they really needed help, and at that time I didn't know what I could do. I did what I could do, and usually that wasn't enough. So that's where I decided to do something about it, and that's when we formed the 501c3. And November will actually be official for 4 years.
Wow. And so tell me how many, because when you think about it, the statistics are 75% of single mothers. And out of those 75% of single mothers, I think it is, there are 75% of single mothers are in the labor force, right? Mm-hmm. And 62% are with minimum wage, is that right?
Absolutely.
So when you have a car, you don't have to just get a job that's off the bus path. Is that
right?
Well,
a lot of times I say you're job challenged in geographically because, the buses only go certain routes. And a lot of times, even if they get there, it's a long term, it's a 3-bus change, there's weather, there's all different variables. So a lot of times women have to pass up on a job that's much more for, give you an opportunity to advance, better pay, better conditions, because they can't get there.
Okay, so if there's anybody out there that wants to donate a car, the number is 844-GIVE-WHEELS, 844-GIVE-WHEELS. That translates to 844-448-3943, 844-GIVE-WHEELS. Again, for calling in, the number to call in is 888-565-1470, and we'd love to hear from you. So is there any single mother out there that wants to call in? Please do so. If there are any sponsors out there that want to call in and want an awesome opportunity to be able to get involved with something, get a tax write-off, and have an instant impact in people's lives, please consider donating a car, donating funds to Wheels from the Heart. That's wheelsfromtheheart.org. Steve is the founder, and he's an absolutely integral, amazing person, wheelsfromtheheart.org. We're about ready to take a caller. Is our caller ready to call in yet? Do we have a caller calling in yet?
I don't know.
Okay, well, when she calls in, you can let her write in. But right now, I'd like to get back to Wheels from the Heart. Wheels from the Heart was founded 4 years ago, as you said. And if somebody wants to donate a car to help these children and the single mom, how would they go about doing that?
Well, obviously, you would call the number 844-GIVE-WHEELS, and you would explain what you have and so forth. And then we can offer a full Kelley Blue Book tax deduction because the car is actually gifted. It's not being sold. So if you give your car, it's actually a gift. So by the IRS, you can get a much larger tax donation plus the opportunity to
Help
lift
somebody.
up a family. So what I say, we're a mid to finish point. We're a hand up, not a hand out. So that's what's interesting. We found that some of the girls, if it's an agreement and the families, they become together and they stay in touch and they mentor each other. And I think I've said this to you before, is that it's funny because I realized like a month ago that all these women, these single moms are so great, they name their cars.
That is the cutest thing.
And so when I think about it, we all have connections to our cars. They're emotional, there's memories, there's things. So I think how great would it be to watch those memories continue or that ability to hand up?
Sure. I'm thinking about it as you said that. And it's so true. We all remember our first car. Well, some of these women, it is their first car. And they're struggling, they're hardworking, they're amazing mothers. I interviewed one of them and I said, what is your passion in life? She says, 95% of my life evolves and revolves around my children. And that touched me so much because she doesn't have to do that, but she does. And she struggles and she works so hard for her children. And if, again, anybody out there that wants a tax write-off, that wants to donate a car, if it's a corporation, if it's Enterprise Rent-A-Car Budget, if it's Ford, if it's I don't know any sponsor. I mean, the names can go on and on and on.
Absolutely.
Taco Bell, Wendy's.
Right, sure.
We give a car giveaway right there, right?
Absolutely.
We can and we can have the radio show, we can have the television show, we can bring press, and really make everybody feel so amazing to gift a car to a family and change these children's lives. And some of these children may become basketball players and
Sure.
have that opportunity to get to practice.
Cure cancer, become a doctor. It's interesting. Several of the kids, I try to get to know them a little bit and talk to them. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard, what would you like? What would you want with, and they say, spend more time with mom.
Right.
So this car buys freedom. It buys time. And what does that time turn into? You can't put a price on time. And all of you that are parents, priceless to be with your children. That's timeless. And so the ability to spend more time with your children, think of the effects that are. They can be helped with homework. They can do activities with mom, different things, just life skills.
Well, yeah, and I know being a single mom, there are a lot of single mothers out there listening, and there's single dads as well. We're not just segregating against the fathers. There's great parents out there that are making a difference in their children's lives, and having a vehicle just really adds to that in such an incredible way. I don't know what it would be like for me not to have a car, especially in South Florida with the rain, with the hot sun, and just having to deal with the bus schedules.
Right.
Right?
I spoke with one of the moms, and I asked her, and we were just talking, and she says, Steve, and this is prior to getting a car, and she said, I have to go to Publix 3 times a week. And so
Why?
I thought, for me, I'm thinking, she doesn't have enough money. It had nothing to do with money. It was time, and she could not carry the groceries and her children at the same time. So it was a 3-time-a-week ordeal, and most of us only have to go once a week or every 2 weeks. So it's just another time away from kids or with kids that are not productive time.
That you don't even realize.
Right.
Because it's really, I like to say you're giving a voice to the voiceless. A lot of women have voices, but nobody really wants to take the time to listen. And I've mentioned before to you that I so appreciate being a part of this cause because I'm a single mom and I was raised by a single mother. And so it's a very strong plight for me. And again, it is a voice to the voiceless. So again, anybody out there that has a car to donate, wheelsfromtheheart.org, wheelsfromtheheart.org, or 844-GIVE-WHEELS. Again, the number is 844-GIVE-WHEELS. If you'd like to call in, the call-in number is 888-565-1470, 888-565-1470, and our first caller will get $100 off. If you need a new car, you can get $100 off from wheelsfromtheheart.org and or Country Club Autos. Steve, tell us a little bit more about why you started this charity, because really at the end of the day, if it weren't for you, how many lives have you changed?
Well, my life was changed, so I felt that it was necessary to pay it forward. And through the grace of God and what I had gone through in my life, He put this purpose on me. And so I look at it as an extreme, in gratitude that He would trust me with these women, these children. So I can't, and it's a calling. It's in the Bible. It says the men are supposed to take care of the women, the children, and orphans. And today, from what I've heard a lot of people say, is that today's single mother is a modern day widow. Mm-hmm. So I felt, a calling that I need to be courageous and stand up and try to make a difference. And so with the 39 women,
39,
yeah, and then each one of them has, it's like 2.5 children. So you look at that and look at over 100 some odd people that have been directly affected. And then I also say that, and I hear it from some of the employers, because as we say, we stay in line. The employers are happy because once they get a car, they're on time, they're more productive, they're not stressed out.
Right.
They become better employees because they can get to work.
Sure.
And a lot of them, they create carpools because they don't forget where they came from. Mm-hmm. They ask other moms, do you need a ride? And they're willing to pick them up. It's just a great family connection.
I'd like to give a little shout out to Diego from AutoZones.
The Brake Zone.
The Brake Zones.
In Boca Raton off Oak Circle.
Yes, Diego from the Brake Zones in Boca Raton, because he actually donates for free
Oil changes.
Oil changes a year.
Yes,
right?
to the recipients.
To
correct.
the recipients. So again, when you are gifted a car, this is something that is not only a gift, but it's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
And I think you may want to talk a little bit more about that, because when you gift a car, you have to get the oil changed. Otherwise, you're going to burn the engine, right?
Right.
So there's certain lessons that need to be learned, and responsibilities and accountability, right?
So a lot of the candidates that we work with, we reach out with various organizations in Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and we come alongside them. So a lot of times they've been working with these girls for a year and a half. So they see the progress, they see the change, they see the understanding of what it is and how to budget. And, you need to have so much money for car repairs. It's just the way of life. And so they're ready for that stuff. They understand. So when they get the car, they know that,
It's an education.
Absolutely. They have
Which
to take
is really
care of it.
important, because it sort of feathers out into other things in life as well. Another thing I wanted to ask you is if there is an organization out there that wants to walk alongside of you. I know that a lot of charities, which I've been involved with, you do fashion shows or you have some sort of entertainment. Imagine an entertainment for a charity where you actually have a car giveaway as your entertainment for the evening, and you walk alongside of Wheels from the Heart. It says a lot when you can walk with another charity in collaboration and not in competition, because you are helping single mothers, you're helping children. So if there's a charity that, like a Boys and Girls Club, like a Dress for Success, which I know you've worked with before, correct?
Absolutely.
I laugh because it's such a great feeling to be at one of these giveaways, and you look at, even though there's so many tears, there's tears of not only joy, but there's tears of, some of these mothers say, no one's ever cared enough. No one's ever done something for me like this.
Right.
And at first, a lot of women, understandably, are a little bit mistrusting of, like, you want to donate a car to me?
Right.
Really?
Absolutely.
Like, you want to donate a car? But really, at the end of the day, when they look at who you are and what this organization is all about, your operating costs are very, very, very low. It's not like you're, making a ton of money off of this. If anything, you've been sponsoring it as your dealership. A lot of the organization, the Wheels from the Heart. So again, if there are any charities out there that want to walk alongside of Wheels from the Heart and collaborate with Wheels from the Heart, what a great thing to do. And what a great added plus for your charity to be able to say that you've gifted a single mother and changed her children's lives forever by gifting them a car. So again, if there are any organizations out there, wheelsfromtheheart.org. The phone number is 844-GIVE-WHEELS. And Steve, again, you're doing amazing things. How can somebody, if a woman is interested in getting a car gifted, how can she find out about your charity?
Well, they can go to the website, wheelsfromtheheart.org, and there's an application there. They can fill out an application and submit it. We do have a board, and we do have things that, we have to fill out an application, and then they have to come in with some type of a sponsor or someone that's recommended them, XYZ, Dress for Success, Family Promise, so
and
forth.
These are some of the organizations. Have you worked with Dress for Success?
Yes. And
I know you've worked with Family Promise.
Absolutely.
Right? And AVDA, I think.
AVDA, we helped. It just goes on and on.
Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club, his family, or his caring place.
Right.
The Lord's Place. We helped a young lady. Trying to think of some other ones.
So many of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
they're.
and
I
the
see
need
the
is,
list
I have 112 girls on the list right now.
Right.
That are
and you
patiently
don't
waiting
have,
for a car.
really, truly, you don't have enough sponsors. So is there anything that you would like to say to a potential, corporate sponsor, whether it's, what a perfect thing for Tire Kingdom, Tires Plus, any of these?
Well, anyone that could do whatever they could do, donate tires, oil changes, money. We obviously need money. Money's always there to keep the foundation going. And for about $6,500, we can actually put a car on the road, a nice, reliable car that actually, if they went to a dealer, would probably be, $10,000.
Right.
And they have no way of ever affording that car.
So it's safe to say that I believe I have Maria on the line, a caller calling in. Let me see if we can connect her.
Hi there.
Hello, Maria. You're here with Steve and Sabrina, and you are on Wheels from the Heart TV. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. We don't have much time, actually about 3.5 minutes, but if you could just quickly educate us on as to what your background is. I know you didn't have a car in the beginning, and if you can just give us a quick synopsis, because I think you're an inspiration to a lot of our viewers out there.
Well, yes, I am actually a realtor, and a long time ago, I had a little baby boy, and I was in the Fort Lauderdale area selling real estate when I first started, and I had no car, had no money for food. Sometimes it was very bad and terrifying, but I struggled on, and I showed houses with my little boy on my hip, if you will, and it took me a long time. I couldn't take him to the baseball games and the flag football and everything that he wanted to, and the children's parties. You know, it was horrible and terrifying because I didn't have means of transportation. But later on, I worked harder and sold houses eventually, because it's very hard when you first start.
Sure.
And now my son is in college and doing very well. He's an A student. He just got his master's in finance.
Good job, Mom.
Thank you.
That's great to hear.
It was a big difference when I got a car. Really made a huge difference in mine and my son's life.
Well, what would you say would be one of the most important things that you'd say would be a transformation from not having a car to having a car?
Well, it helped me to let my son interact with other children, as they really need that when they grow up, and
Sure.
to take him places that children need to go to, like school and aftercare. I eventually got to take him to aftercare, so I could work harder, so I could make more money. And for me to show houses with a car, it's essential, but at the time I did not have one, so I'd have to take my little boy with me, and he wouldn't get to go to the little schools and things that all the other kids got to do because I couldn't take him. So he'd end up hanging out with me showing property, which was not a great inspiration and education for
I would
a
like
little
to,
one.
Maria, I would like to, if I can, as we close up here, could you please give our listeners your first and last name, and if they ever need a house, that they should come to you, because you are truly an inspiration. You started out without a car, and now you have a son getting straight A's in college, and you're doing very well with real estate. Could you please give us your first and last name?
Yes, my first name is Maria, and my last name is Montalbano.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Maria.
Do you have a website, Maria, that you would like to tell the listeners?
Yes, it's actually floridacastles.com.
Okay, everyone.
FloridaCastle.com. FloridaCastle.com.
Castles with an S, I
Florida
think.
Castles with an S.com.
Yes.
Maria,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your inspiring story. We really, truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
righty.
God bless.
Bye-bye. So everybody out there, again, this is Wheels from the Heart TV. Wheels from the Heart TV. Steve is an amazing man who's the founder, and I thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you for having me.
You have been listening to the Wheels from the Heart Show with your host, Sabrina Barnett. Join us next week at 5:30 on AM 1470 WNN. Want to donate and maybe be on the show? Sabrina loves meeting people. Find out how you could meet Sabrina and be part of our show. Give and share your compelling stories. Single moms need your help. Sabrina invites you to see the show on our website. See you next week. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests,